All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging in there. Welcome to the Scamaware 101 live stream. Happy New Year, happy holidays, all that good stuff to all our viewers. Get to a little bit of a late start here. Had some internet connection issues and some sound issues, but we're in a good spot now. So, without further ado, let's get started. We're going to start this off with some headlines to keep everybody up to date about what's going on with scams, the warnings that are out there, the scams that the media is reporting, what we need to watch out for. So let's start with a warning from the Bloomington Police warning residents about a phone scam. The Bloomington Police is warning residents about a new scam reported in the area. Several locals have contacted BPD after receiving phone calls that appear to be from a law enforcement agency. The callers claim that a family member has been involved in an accident or is facing legal trouble, urging the recipient to act quickly and send money for help. The scammers often insist that the funds be picked up at the victim's home. All right, so this is a common scam. The scammers call up a family member and they claim that somebody's been involved in an accident or is in jail and they need money. This is commonly known as a grandparent scam because a lot of times they'll target grandparents or parents and they'll be pretending that their child is in jail to scare them. So, Bloomingdale police are warning citizens about that scam. They posted that warning on Facebook. The tactic creates a sense of urgency, pressuring individuals to act without thinking carefully. The department urges residents to be vigilant and cautious if they receive such calls. All right. So if you get a call like that, what you want to do is you want to tell them you're going to call back, you hang up, and then actually reach out to the local police department and see if what they're saying is true. They're going to tell you not to. They're going to tell you not to hang up the phone. The scammer's going to tell you not to hang up the phone. The scammer is also going to tell you that your child requested not to discuss this with anybody, right? They're going to tell you to keep it confidential because they don't want you to talk to anybody and realize it's a scam, right? So it's important to realize that's all part of these scams. So if you get a call like that, be smart. Don't immediately give them money off the phone. Look up the real phone number for the police department and call them directly. It's a very common scam, and we're actually going to talk more about the scam later in the live stream here. Let's take a look at some more headlines. Cary woman falls victim to donation scam. Oh, this is a interesting one. So, Cary woman fell victim to a donation scam while shopping last weekend. So, she was approached by a young man outside of Nordstrom Rack, and he asked her for a donation for his high school basketball team. That's pretty normal, right? We say it all the time. He had a box of candy, and the victim offered a $3 donation, and he provided her with an ATM credit card machine to pay with, right? So you know how they have these little portable machines that you can take payments on, the credit card, debit card. So the man took his card, typed in an amount, right? And the victim couldn't see the amount that he was putting in. He inserted the card twice, and the victim said, "I knew something was wrong, but I did not want to argue with him, so I went home and checked my credit card account." She then learned that the man attempted to charge her $2,000 to her credit card twice. So the person took her card, thought he was doing a $3 donation. He tried to actually get her twice for $2,000. So keep that in mind when you're donating to these baseball teams and things like that. You know, if you're gonna pay with a card, which is kind of usually they take cash, but I guess maybe they're all carrying card machines these days. But if they do, make sure to see what the amount they're actually typing in is, because they wouldn't be doing these scams if they weren't pulling them off. So be aware of that one. Let's take a look at another one here. All right, so this guy lost $25,000 in a marketplace scam. He was trying to sell his Jeep. And the thing to take note of here is insurance doesn't cover that. So we'll talk about what he did, but insurance isn't going to help him with that problem now. So let's see. This guy was advertising his Jeep Wrangler on Facebook Marketplace last year for $25,000. A buyer from Tennessee was interested. He met him. They met in a public area with cameras around. The buyer bought the vehicle on the spot with a cashier's check. Sharp deposited the check the next day, but 3 days later, he got a call from the bank. The cashier's check, which appeared to come from a real bank, was actually no good. So the victim had to file a police report, and a warrant is out for the person who pulled the scam. But in a situation like this, you actually want to go to a bank and make sure that the funds are there before handing over the vehicle. Because this guy had 3 days to get away before the victim even found out that the check was no good. So in a situation like that, if you're going to take a money order or a check, you should actually meet at a bank, go in there, and confirm the funds are actually there. So that's how you could avoid this scam. But as another note regarding this scam is he said he reached out to his insurance company, and the insurance company would not help him. And he says he was actually one of at least half a dozen or even more of this theft ring. So this is a common scam that they're starting to do. So make sure those checks and those money orders are good before you go handing over a $25,000 car to a stranger you met on Marketplace. Let's take a look at another one here. So we got 6 people watching right now, at least according to this. So say hi in the chat. Tell me why you're here. Let me know if there's any scams you actually want to hear about. I'll do my best to answer them. I'll be checking with the chat throughout the live stream. All right. So there's another county sheriff office warned neighbors of a new phone scam. Okay, so they don't give too much information about this, but what they do say is that it was regarding COVID reimbursement loans. So the scammer calls pretending to be a police officer. The caller claims to be reaching out about COVID-related loans. They'll leave a message if the call isn't answered. The police warned of 2 red flags regarding this scam. They said when dialing back, the voicemail sounds suspiciously similar to the sheriff's office, but it's not legitimate. And it's actually not one of their phone numbers in this case. So if you get a call from some local sheriff office about COVID reimbursements, tell them you call them back, hang up the phone, and then what you do is you look up the actual number of that sheriff's office and you call them to confirm that it was actually them calling or not. Chances are it's not. It's going to be a scam. The sheriff's office aren't actively calling about these things, but definitely don't trust an incoming call from somebody claiming that they're from a sheriff's office. And that goes for any case. If they're going to call a real sheriff or a real law enforcement agency, will have no problem with you telling them that you want to hang up and you'll call back after confirming a few things. All right. So let's see. The sheriff's office actually advises do not call back or provide any personal information. If you receive this call, hang up immediately and report the incident to authorities. Right. So anytime law enforcement or sheriff office calls you, hang up and look up the phone number and call back the real one. Take a look at some more headlines. Okay, this scam. This is about tolls, fake toll road balances. So we're going to go over this one in more depth later in this live stream. This is an extremely popular one right now, especially since the holidays just kind of wrapped up. And what this is these are you get text messages and emails claiming that a toll is due, and they're impersonating Fast Track, they're impersonating Easy Pass, they're impersonating Sun Pass, And a lot of people are getting these text messages. And what happens? You get the text message. It tells you you have a toll due and includes a link to pay the toll. But the link brings up a fake website, and the website could infect your device with a virus, or it could steal your personal information. If you enter your credit card details, the scammer's going to get your credit card details. So we're going to go over this scam a little bit more later in more detail on the live stream. I have lots of screenshots and examples of this scam to show you. But let's take a look here and see what this article says about it. Many people have reported receiving text messages claiming they have a fast track toll that needs to be paid, but it's a scam. Better Business Bureau warns there are a few things to look out if you receive a suspicious text like this one. It says delete and block them. So some people report misspellings in these text messages to give it away, and misspellings and grammar are a clue that it's not a legit text message or email. But you can't really rely on that 100%. Scammers are using AI now. They're generating text. The spelling's going to be correct. The grammar's going to be correct. So it's a good thing to keep an eye out for. But even if the grammar and spelling is correct, that doesn't mean that's legit. So don't rely on that 100%. These toll services will not be sending text messages out. The legit ones, they don't send text messages like these. So if you get this text, it's going to be a scam. Again, they're impersonating Easy Pass, Sun Pass, Fast Track. I have a whole list of services that they're impersonating that we'll go over later on in the in this stream when we talk about this scam specifically. See if there's anything else worth reading here on this article. Resist the urge to click on a link, delete it, report it. Yep. So they did say that we found out that the link was actually installing malware on people's phones. So just clicking on that link could get you some malware on your phone. So you don't even want to click on a link to see. You might be curious, but don't do it. Don't click on that link. Yeah, and then they mentioned if you enter credit card information, it's going to be stolen by a scammer. Yep. All right, so we'll talk about more about that one later on here. Let's check out another headline. So this one's about a Baltimore job hunter. And luckily she avoided an employment scam because she remembered an unwritten rule. All right, so let's see what this lady's story is about here. So she's looking for a job, and she's a disabled person. She needs to work from home. Her mobility is limited. That brings up a important point too. These scammers, they do prey on the most vulnerable. They prey on seniors, and that might not be as familiar with technology. They prey on disabled people. In this case, she's a disabled person trying to work from home. Okay. So let's see. The one unwritten rule to follow in the context of remote work is that you shouldn't have to pay to work. Exactly, right? So in this case, what this scammer was trying to do was she tried to get her to purchase a new computer and a phone and ship it there to have their software installed. If she did that, they would have kept the computer and phone, and she would have been out of the money that she spent to get that. And there's other employment scams too that work similar. They might not tell you to buy a phone or a computer, but they'll ask you to deposit money or to open an account and put money in the account. Some ask you to send gift cards for some reason. So always remember, if you're looking for a job, especially a remote job, if they're asking you to pay or send them or to purchase something and send it to them, it's a scam. They're never going to ask you to pay to work. And luckily, this lady was aware of that, so she didn't get scammed. Also, what you could do is you could actually call up the company. Now, sometimes the scammers will be saying they're a completely fake company, so you have to be careful with that. But if the job looks like it's from a legit company that you're familiar with, what you could actually do is you could hang up and call the company's phone number, what's ever on their website, and actually talk to the company and see if it's a real employment opportunity. Because they will impersonate other companies. They'll impersonate legit companies to make it seem like they're offering jobs with them. Yeah, studies have shown that the pandemic has paved the way for an uptick in job related scams, specifically involving remote positions. The BBB revealed that an estimated 14 million people are exposed to employment scams every year, resulting in 2 billion in direct losses. It says median loss for employment fraud victims is about $2,000. So typically, people that fall for this scam, the average seems about $2,000 they lose before realizing that there's a scam going on here. Same goes for a company telling you to send cash or gift cards as part of onboarding process. Since you should never have to pay a fee as part of an employment check. On the flip side, no honest employer will send you a check in order to buy work supplies and require you to send back any money that is left over. So that's important to remember too. So your employer, let's see, no honest employer would send you a check in order to buy work supplies, right? Now, the reason it mentions that is because that opens up you for check fraud. What these scammers will do is they'll send you a bad check, right? And then you provide them, you cash it, you give them the money for it, and then the check is no good on you, and then you don't get the money. So also keep that in mind. An employer won't send you a check to buy work supplies. Typically, what would happen is you would buy any work supplies and they get reimbursed by an employer. They won't be sending you a check up front. So be careful with that for any new employment opportunities. Also, be on the lookout for companies that contact you out of blue with an offer for a remote job. It's pretty unlikely to get recruited without initiating contact yourself. Right. So and I get these all the time. I get emails about job opportunities, and I pretty much just assume that they're scams. So let's see what else we got going on here. This is a good one. Vista woman loses life savings to Keanu Reeves imposter romance scam. It says that this 67-year-old woman now lives in her car. She sent thousands of dollars to scammers thinking it was for actor Keanu Reeves. She decided to share her story to prevent others from losing it all as she did. So, say what you want about this woman, but it is nicer to come forward and share the story. A lot of victims are embarrassed. They feel stupid that they fell for this and they don't want to share their story. But a lot of people do fall for this, and it is good of her to share her story and warn others. As even says, before you make any judgments, you should know that romance scams are very common. According to San Diego County District Attorney's Office, 1.1 billion was lost to romance scams in the U.S. in 2023. And her story is interesting. So there's a couple details I just want to talk about it more here. Okay, so she said it all started in 2022 when she connected with someone claiming to be Reeves. He asked her to send him a $500 gift card to prove she wasn't just interested in his fame and money. Okay, the victim says that she did send it, but she said she wanted to hear his voice. And once she heard his voice, she realized that it wasn't him, and she blocked him. Okay, so well, what happened to her life savings, right? Well, what happened to her is actually pretty common. So she posted a warning on social media about how she was duped by an imposter. Right. But then she received a message from the real Reeves, or so she thought. But it was another imposter. And this is actually similar to they call it recovery scam. Right. So scammers know that you got scammed once, and then what they do is they'll reach out and they'll say that they're doing the investigation or they want to help because of the scam, but it's actually another scammer and they're going to scam you again. Right. So that's kind of what happened in her case, it looks like. She fell for this imposter scam, sent 500 bucks, she shared it online. Then scammers reached out, pretending to be Keanu Reeves again, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry you got scammed. He starts talking with her. Dozens of receipts for Bitcoin and gift card transactions, as well as wire transfers. A total of tens of thousands of dollars she thought was sending to Reeves and his team over 2 years. So for 2 years, she thought she was dealing with the real Keanu Reeves. So when asked how was convinced to send the money over and over again, she responded, "Well, I was lonely." So this goes back to them. These scammers, they prey on the most vulnerable. This poor lady is just looking for love. She fell for something you would think would be. A lot of people would say, "Oh, it's common sense," but she's vulnerable. She fell for it. And it happens. It happens a lot. She said the scammers always had a good reason why she needed to send money. Another red flag is that they are overly affectionate. It's called love bombing. What they do, they're just showering you with all this attention and affection. Then the scammer will ask you for something, usually gift cards. If they refuse to meet you, that's another big red flag, right? So especially when it comes to these romance scams, always meet with these people. Don't go sending money to strangers on dating sites that you've only interacted with over the internet. If they don't want to meet you, then that's a big red flag. Poor lady, I've got 29 miles of gas left in my car, and she's living out of it. So, romance scams, watch out for them. Don't go sending money to people you don't know or haven't met in person, even if it's Keanu Reeves. Let's see what other headlines we got here. Top scams targeting you as we head into 2025. One phone call cost a woman her life savings. With a single phone call, Christy Taylor said she lost her life savings. A few months back, Taylor told us her call ID showed someone from her bank calling. Okay, so we're reading about this one more and more about these bank impersonation scams, and a lot of people get tricked because the caller ID will actually show the bank's phone number. They don't realize that the scammers could make it show whatever phone number they want. They can make it show a bank's phone number. They can make it show a police department's phone number. So a lot of people see their bank's actual phone number to caller ID, and they think, okay, it's the bank, but it's not. It's a scammer. That's what happened in this lady's case. The scammer claimed the bank found a fraudulent withdrawal from her account. She followed the instructions. He said you need to take your money out and transfer it and put it into another bank. She transferred almost $10,000 onto a prepaid debit card and gave the caller the card number. But by the time she took her money to another bank, she said the funds were gone. That's our life savings, she said. So let's be clear. Every single one of us is a target of frauds and scams, said Amy, the director of fraud victim support for AARP. According to the FTC, victims reported losing $10 billion to scams in 2023. That is the highest ever in losses reported to the FTC in a single year. Wow, 80% of people who report scams to the BBB about investment scams lose their money. So their money doesn't get recovered. The FTC also warns about fake business and job opportunities. Yeah, this one mentions a work from home job scam too that we were just talking about. When her first assignment was to cash in a $2,400 check, she says she knew something wasn't right. Yeah, so a lot of times what these job scams will do is they'll actually be stealing money from one victim, and then they'll be using someone who thinks they're working a legitimate job to move the funds. So in this case, the scammers were stealing money from one victim, and then this other victim who thought she was working a legit job, she was sent to cash in the $2,400 fraudulent check for the funds. Yeah, so there's a couple scams that they're warning us about here. Let's see, got a couple more headlines to go over. No, that's not the one I want to go over. Okay, Mumbai cyber scam. Elderly woman tricked. They shouldn't have used the word elderly. They should have said senior. I hear that you're not supposed to use the word elderly. She was tricked into transferring 1.5 CR. I have no idea what that converts to in USD, but I think it's important to know what the scam is because there are no borders when it comes to scammers. All right, so 78-year-old woman from South Mumbai, because latest victim of a fraud scheme, losing a staggering to the fraudsters. Fraudsters posing as officials from a special investigation team. Okay, so they told the elderly woman she was under investigation for serious charges, including money laundering and drug-related offenses. Hmm. So they basically made up a whole case against this lady that wasn't true. They told her that she was in a lot of trouble and that she had to make payments. Instead of panic, the woman was persuaded to share her banking details with the fraudsters who convinced her that her assets needed to be safeguarded. Over the course of the scam, she transferred a bunch of money to the bank accounts provided by the criminals. The report adds that it was only after discussing the situation with a family member that she realized she had fallen victim to a scam. So that's an important point to remember. You know, when you're getting calls like these, it's always good to stop. Don't react immediately. Discuss it with your friends and family members. See what they have to say about it. A lot of times they'll tell you to keep it confidential and not to talk to anybody. And the reason why is because they don't want your friends and family telling you that it's a scam. Let's see if we got any other headlines here. Seeing a few more people in the chat. So say hi. Tell us why you're here. Let me know what you want to talk about. If you have questions, I'll see if I can answer them for you. So cryptocurrency scams rise in 2024. Experts warn of continued threats. So they're saying, so in this article, they're calling it cryptocurrency scams, but something to keep in mind is what they're really talking about is cryptocurrency ATMs, right? So what these scammers will do is whatever their scam is, when they tell you to send money, um, they'll tell you to actually use a Bitcoin ATM to send the money. And that's a huge red flag. If someone's telling you to use a Bitcoin ATM to send them money, it's definitely a scam. And these scammers actually do that a lot. They'll impersonate the IRS and they'll say, "Oh, you can pay us in cryptocurrency," right? And they'll tell you to go use a Bitcoin ATM, but it's a scam. It's not true. According to FTC, nobody from government, law enforcement, or utility company will ever tell you to pay them with cryptocurrency. If someone does, it's a scam every time. So definitely be aware of that. Consumers should always be highly suspicious of anyone asking them to transfer money using cryptocurrency. It's a big red flag. Bitcoin ATMs. They tell you to pay that way. Don't do it. Let's see what else we have here. So one more article we'll look over, and then we'll dive into some actual scams. So I'll give some examples. All right, so here's some tips from the BBB. Okay. These aren't really examples of scams, but might as well discuss it anyway. It's all good stuff and important, right? So they recommend checking your free credit report at least once a year, which you could definitely do. There's a website called annualcreditreport.com, and they'll actually provide you a free credit report every year. So it's good to check that because you want to see if anybody's opening bank accounts or credit cards in your name. You can look for any suspicious activity, and it could tip you off to somebody using your personal information. So definitely request your free credit reports and review those once a year. Help you catch any identity theft. Let's recommend sign up for the Do Not Call registry. You can. They don't really get followed. Scammers really kind of don't really care about the registry, but it's worth doing anyway. Thanks for a comment, Katie. I'm glad you like it. Got a lot more good stuff coming up too. Always read the fine print. All right, so that's for just shady trial offers. Keep your computer safe. Okay, so we're gonna go over this one later too. There's tech support scams out there. Well, it'll pop up. It'll tell you have a virus in the call number. If you call that number, you're actually going to be connected to a scammer. So we'll go over some tech support scams. I have tons of examples to show you later in this live stream too. Okay, shredding documents. Recommend shredding any documents that have personal information on them instead of just throwing them out. There are scammers that they do go dumpster diving and looking for valuable information that was thrown out. So never wire money to someone you don't know, and never Zelle money to somebody you don't know. Never PayPal money to somebody you don't know. Never give any money to somebody you don't know. Not just wiring. Okay. All right. So anyway, those are some headlines. Let's see, 6:55. All right. Let's actually dive into some specific scams. I'll give you some good examples of some common scams that are happening right now. So let's do some top holiday scams. I know the holidays are kind of past, but these scams are still very active right now this time of year. So let's start with the undeliverable package scam. We mentioned this one a little bit earlier, but so many people are getting these undeliverable package text messages and emails. And what they do is they're text messages and emails that they're impersonating FedEx, UPS, and USPS, and they say that a package is undeliverable. And then they include a link for you to get the package redelivered. But it's a fake link, and it's going to install a virus on your device, or it's going to steal your personal information. Right. So let me show you some examples of these undeliverable package text messages. We'll start with the text message version. Now I'm going to show you the email version of these. Now it's important to note that UPS, FedEx, USPS, they do not send text messages like these. They're not going to send you a text message about a package they couldn't deliver to you. The only time they'll send you a text message is if you actually request it for a specific package. Like you go to their site and you can set up tracking for a specific package that you're expecting. But that's the only time they're going to send you a text message. They're not just going to send you some random text message out of the blue about a package that you were unaware of. So if you get these text messages, it's 100% a scam. All right. So here's an example of one from USPS. Due to invalid address, you have a package that needs to be delivered, but has been suspended due to incorrect delivery address. If you do not update your address before 24 hours, your package will be returned to sender. to delivery your package. So you notice a little spelling grammar error there. So that's a giveaway too. Again, can't rely on that 100%, but this is a tip that this wasn't a legit source. Please update your address by clicking the link below. It's not a real link to USPS. It's actually to the website that a scammer runs, and they're going to steal all your information and any credit card details you provide. So USPS does not send text messages with links like this. Again, this one's going around a lot, so definitely be aware of it. There's another one. USPS packages arrived at the warehouse, cannot be delivered due to incomplete address information. So this one's similar, right? Same deal. It gives you an address to some website that is not USPS. They included the word USPS in the website address to try and be a little sneaky, but it's still not legit. It's another example. This was one that was actually sent to me that I screenshotted. And what was interesting about this one is they actually created a group chat and they named the group chat USPS. So this way across the top, it would say USPS. And I guess they think it makes it look a little bit more legit that way. But since the package does not have a house number, the package transportation is interrupted. Please update. Includes a link. You click that link, you can steal your information to give you a virus. So don't do it. Can't stress it enough. USPS, FedEx, UPS, they don't send text messages like these. And here's another version of that. This text message actually has an attachment. And in this case, usually the attachment, it'll just have a link to their fake website. It's a way that they get past filters. They'll include an attachment that has a link. This way, it's less likely to get blocked. But you never want to open attachments from a stranger, period. Right? So like if you get an email with an attachment, don't open it. If you get a text message with attachment, because this could give you a virus or it could link to a bad website. That was example one with the HTML attachment. Then there's another one they sent out with a PDF attachment. Same deal with this one. You open up the attachment, you get a virus, or it's going to link you to a fake website where you're going to steal your information or affect your device. So there was a Wired article about this scam, actually. And so there was actually an IT researcher, Grant Smith, and his wife fell for this. She fell for this fake undeliverable package text message. And I love this story because this guy is an IT guy. And so what he did was he ended up infiltrating the systems of the people who did this. You know, he saw the link, he saw, you know, what website it was, and was able to actually get into their system behind the scenes and see what was going on. And it turned out that in this case, the scammers who were sending out these USPS text messages, it was actually a Chinese group, a Chinese organized crime group, you know, located over in China. And he was actually able to see that they were sending over 100,000 text messages a day of this scam. They were sending it globally. He tracked down the Chinese language group behind the mass campaign, hacked into their systems. He saw that people entered 438,000 unique credit cards. Right. So that gives you an idea how many people are falling for this. So that's why these scammers, they keep on doing it. You know, a lot of people say, oh, that's common sense. It's not. There's 438,000 unique credit card numbers that these scammers got by fooling people. They said that they were using over 1,100 different website addresses and domain names. So many people entered multiple credit cards. They said California actually had the most victims, it looked like, when it was going through their data. They said that 141,000 entries. So, but yeah, this one's popular. It's successful. The scammers making a lot of money off this scam. So undeliverable package texts, don't fall for it. It's a scam. And there's also an email version of this one. It's a little different. So let me open some examples of that one for you. So this example, they're actually impersonating FedEx and UPS. I got email examples for both of these to share with you. So here's the FedEx email. And these are new. I mean, this was back in November 16th. So this is only a month or two old, right? And this email, is a little different because instead of just asking you to click a link to get the package redelivered, what this email does is it offers you a compensation product, right? And if you click on that, it's actually going to take you to a fake website by the scammer. The purpose is still the same. They're still going to steal your credit card details once you enter them. But in this case, what they're doing is they're offering you a free compensation product. You're never going to receive it. And how it works is they're going to ask you to pay for shipping. So here's a FedEx version of the email. They put the logo on it. They try to make it look as legit as possible. Um, you can see the from address. I'm not sure if you can see on my screen, but it's not a FedEx address. You can tell it's not from a legit email address. And the same thing with UPS. Whichever or whatever group is doing this, they're sending out similar emails. All right, so you see you got the UPS header here. Sorry, your package appears to be missing. Get your compensation now. Right, and then if you click that link, it's going to take you to a fake website. It gives you fake information. These are actual screenshots of the website. And what's funny is you can look at these screenshots and the tracking codes that they put on these, the fake tracking codes to make it seem legit. They're actually the same tracking codes on both examples here. So if you get these emails are fake, FedEx, UPS, they do not offer compensation for missed packages. It'd be nice if they did, but they don't. So be aware of text messages, emails, FedEx, UPS, USPS. Don't fall for it. This one's extremely popular right now. I mean, everybody's expecting packages this time of year. So the scammers know it. Fake retail websites. Okay. So this actually picks up where this leaves off, right? So if you click this get your compensation now link on this fake FedEx email, what's going to do is it's going to bring up a fake website. And these are actual screenshots from before Black Friday, this scam. But see if I can make it a little bigger. You can see here. All right, so they're offering you a $170 pair of headphones, right? And they're saying, "Oh, you get it for free. Just pay for shipping. Pay $8.95 for shipping." Right. So it sounds too good to be true because it is too good to be true. If you enter your credit card details in here just to pay for shipping, it's gonna get stolen by a scammer. A scammer's gonna get your credit card details and any of your personal information that you enter, maybe shipping information, and their product will never arrive. And in this case, they'll actually charge you for the shipping. They'll charge you $8.95 for the shipping, right? So you won't think anything, you won't suspect anything. But then eventually your product never arrives. Could be weeks before you realize it. Meanwhile, the scammer has your credit card details. Right. So this is a fake retail website scam. And they'll use all different ways to get you on these fake retail websites. Example we gave was this FedEx example where they're offering you a free compensation that isn't real, right? But they'll list these websites on Google Ads or on social media ads, right? You'll see these ads pop up for free wireless headphones. Just pay shipping. And a lot of them are scams. Most of them are scams. So what do? Right? Well, you want to go check for reviews on the website. Whatever website you see these being offered on, go and Google the website, see what people are saying about it. If it has no reviews, that's a red flag, right? Because that means it's just a new website that was put up. So it could be just put up by a scammer, right? So if there's no reviews, that's a red flag. And then if there are reviews of people saying, they never received their product or anything, then it's a scam as well because people are reporting it. So any special offers like this that seem too good to be true, they usually are. So definitely do your due diligence, right? So here's a screenshot of, again, this was part of the whole FedEx example one. So, and it was right before Black Friday. So they had the whole Black Friday banner up here, saying it's a Black Friday sale. And this was the headphones that they offered. And then they have a portable heater, same price, $175, and you're getting it for $8, they say. And then wireless earbuds, $175 again. You're getting it for $869. So don't trust it. It's a scam. Definitely do your due diligence. See what people are saying about the website. So the fake retail websites, watch out for the ads, right? Roll toll scam. So let's talk about this roll toll scam. We talked about this a little earlier, and I don't think this one actually gets as much attention as it deserves. Um, we created a video about this and shared it, I don't know, about a month or two ago, and it didn't get as much views as the other videos, and it's a shame because this one is going to be. I mean, this one's happening across the states here. So let me bring up some examples for you here. Right. So it's fake toll scam. They're coming in through text messages mainly, but I'm sure they're going to be coming in through emails too. Scammers will adjust their scams. They'll call you and try to do the same scam. They'll send you an email with the same scam. Right now, it's mainly text messages though for this one, but they're impersonating all these agencies. They're impersonating SunPass, Peach Pass, Quick Pass, Good to Go, Easy Pass, the North Texas Tollway Authority, Fast Track, Drive Easy Maryland. Right. So I have examples. I'm going to share all the examples with you right now, but it's of all. It's text messages impersonating all these different agencies. Again, these are being reported all throughout the country at this point, and this one it got popular really quick. Well, let's take a look at some of these. Right. So here's an example of a text message. Right. California Toll Services. Our records indicate that your vehicle has an unpaid toll invoice. To avoid additional charges of $64, please sell your balance for $6.49. Right. And then it has a link to a website that it might sound legit, but it's not. It's not. So this website, for example, is Bay Area Fast Track Toll Services.com, which is not a real fast track website. So, and the thing about one of these scams too is, they say you have a balance of $6, but they try to scare you as well. They try to scare you to act quickly by saying it's going to turn into $64 if you don't pay it, right? So a lot of people will think, whatever, it's $6.49. They're not going to spend the time to dispute it. Whatever, $6.49. They'll be quick to click the link, type in their credit card details, and then actually get sent to the scammer. Right. So this is an actual text message example, one for the California Toll Services that's impersonating Fast Track. All right. Here's one that impersonates Florida SunPass. Our records indicate your vehicle has unpaid toll invoice. To avoid additional charges of $75, please sell your balance of $7.59. Right. And they have a link. It's got the word SunPass in it. So people might think, all right, it looks legit, but it's not. It's the same deal. Now say it's $7. They try to scare you into acting quickly. Send to $5.90. This text message, you see there's some little issues. They got the $ twice, right? So there's like little hints that it's not legit. But also, again, these agencies do not send text messages like this. Just like the one we went over before, where we said USPS doesn't send text messages like this. It's the same deal for all these toll agencies. They don't send text messages like these either. So if you get these text messages, they're a scam. Let's take a look at a few more here. Illinois. Notice an outstanding toll amount, $12. New Jersey, my home state. Your recent trip through New Jersey toll has incurred an extra $4.15 charge. To avoid late fees, sell your balance. Right, and they try to make this sound legit. New Jersey-easypass.com, but that's not the website. So, New York. This one says you're gonna get hit with a fee $150. So they really want you to act quick. And a lot of them will say tolls by mail. Right, people report getting emails from tolls by mail or text messages from tolls by mail, and it's all fake. North Carolina Toll Services. This website, this is ncquickpassinvoice.com. It's a fake website. Ohio turnpiketolls.org, fake website. Pennsylvania, I know we got a few people in Pennsylvania watching right now. So watch out for any of these text messages if you get them because they're fake. Pennsylvania Turnpike toll services indicating your vehicle has an unpaid toll invoice. AD, avoid additional charges of 86 bucks. All fake. Got one for Virginia here. This scammer didn't try too hard because they used the NC SunPass toll services as the web address. It's still fake. And last example here, this text message we got here is Washington, my good to go tolls. It's the same deal. My records indicate that your vehicle has an unpaid toll invoice. To avoid additional charges, please sell your balance. And it's got a link to a fake website. Now, I do have some screenshots of this fake website to share. So it's important never to click on these links in general. But if you did, it will have taken you to this website that actually it'll look like a legit website. They use the same logo for Washington State. And it looks all legit, but it's not. If you click payment, it brings you to another page and they're going to ask for your credit card details. They're going to steal your information. So if you get any of these text messages about toll balances impersonating Easy Pass or any of the other agencies, is fake. Don't fall for it. And we're going to see more of this one. It hasn't gotten as much attention as it should. And it is statewide. I mean, it's in multiple states and it's working. So don't fall for this one. Another scam to watch out because of the holidays, and all year round, but especially this time of year, are fake gift card scams. Right. So you'll get an email. They'll say you got a gift card. They'll say they'll have a link to activate it, right? And then they'll steal your information if you try to activate it, or they'll install a virus on your computer, right? So this time of year, if you get any emails saying that you got a gift card from someone, reach before you go clicking a link, reach out to the person and confirm they actually sent it to you. In this case, it says your company has given you an employee rewards card. You activate your card today. It's like a Venmo debit card, it looks like. Right. So in this case, if you receive something like this, you would ask your employer before actually clicking it. You would want to reach out to your employer and say, hey, do you actually send me a Venmo gift card? So watch out for these fake gift card scams that are going around. So those are main holiday scams to watch out for right now this time of year. I'm making on time. 5 minutes over. Okay. Got more scams coming up later on in this live stream. I want to take a moment, talk a little bit about these scammers and who we're dealing with. Because a lot of people, they have like false assumptions about who these scammers are. One sec. Let me update the agenda here. After we go through this, we'll go over some more common scams. All right, so who are the scammers, right? So you have your individuals still. Of course, there's like the lone scammers out there. But the real threat is there's actual call centers full of scammers. They do this for a living. It's their job, right? So it's important to realize that you're up against a team of scammers. Okay, they're sitting there in an office from 9 to 5. They're calling people. They're emailing people. They're getting on the phone. They're working as a team. They'll transfer it. They'll act as, for example, a grandparent scam. Right. What they'll do is a scammer will call and he'll impersonate a police officer saying that a loved one is in jail. Right. And then they'll transfer over to somebody that impersonates a lawyer saying that you need to pay them money for bail. Right. So these scammers, they work in teams. It's not just like one person you're up against. So if you're being targeted by a scam, just because you're dealing with like multiple people and it feels like, okay, I'm dealing with a team of professional people, like that's not enough to know that you're not being scammed, right? Like they do this for a living, they seem legit, and they work in teams. So you definitely want to keep that in mind. They're following scripts. They're very similar to a sales team, right? The sales team has scripts. They have preset answers of what they're going to say, how they're going to respond to your objections, right? So these guys, they're professionals, right? Um, they will target you. Don't think that, oh, it's just who's going to target little old me, right? They will target everybody. You're just a name on a list to them, right? So they will target everybody, right? So you definitely have to be aware you will be targeted. Don't think that you're safe from not being targeted by these scammers, right? And it's important to understand what they're capable of too. We touched this a little bit earlier. We touched on this a little bit earlier about how they're able to display whatever phone number they want on the caller ID, right? Like they use the latest technology. They're able to display phone numbers on a caller ID. They're able to send emails that look like they're from another email address. Okay, they have technology that's just going to call. You can load thousands of numbers into software, thousands of phone numbers, and it will just call one after the other. It'll do robocalls, right? So they will target you, and don't think that you're safe from these guys. You have to stay aware, and you have to expect it. Also, what do they know? Right? They know a ton about you, a ton about you. Stuff they know things that you forgot about yourself. Let's put it that way. Um, a lot of these scammers, the information they get, they've breached third parties, right? So services that you've used, right? They've breached them, and they have all your data with those third party services. So even though you may not have given out certain information about yourself to the scammers, they still got it from the services and third parties that you've used, right? So they'll call up and they'll know things about you, right? Um, so this year, a payment processor for auto dealerships got breached. They provided services to auto dealerships throughout the country, right? And the hackers got access to tons of information, tons of customer data for all these car dealerships, right? So when that happens, all these customers that went to these various car dealerships, they need to be aware that the scammers are now going to target them. And the scammers know a lot of information about what they were doing at that car dealership, right? They might know what car was purchased. They might know the salesperson that you dealt with. They definitely know the name of the car dealership, right? So a scammer will call you up, and now they could say, "Hey, this is Bob, the dealer you dealt with over at Bob's Auto Services. All right, we're calling about your Toyota that you purchased. You know, your 2020 Toyota that was purchased, right? And we need you to verify some billing information on some accounts ending in the last four digits, 1234, right? And they'll give you all this information that's accurate. So you'll think to yourself, well, this must be legit. They know a lot about me, but that doesn't mean it's legit, right? Because all your information has been stolen. And you have to be aware of that, right? It's actually called spear phishing. When they send you emails that have information about you in them, it's called spear phishing. So, but they'll target you with emails, they'll target you with phone calls, they'll target you with text message, and they'll include information about you to make you think, okay, this must be a legit person. They know this about me, but it's not. So, so if you put that all together, here's the full picture, right? You have scammers that they're able to call you from a phone number that looks like it's from the car dealership, for example, right? They know the name of the people you dealt with over the car dealership, so they could impersonate those people, and they know information about you, like billing information, that they could give you to gain your trust and make you think that you're talking to somebody actually with that dealership, right? So the safest thing you could do when you're getting these calls, right, is to tell them, let me call you back, and then reach out to the dealership or whoever they were impersonating to make sure that it's real. Even if it shows their phone number on the caller ID, it doesn't mean it's real. It's crazy, but it's true. So you need to do that. So watch out for these guys. They're good. They do it for a living. There's a lot of them. They know a lot about you. I see we got 8 people watching. Say hi in the chat. Let me know what you want to talk about. No, before we go into the other scams, I actually want to share a story that's kind of related to this, and it just happened over the past couple of days. A friend reached out to me. Let me go find the text message here. There was a bank impersonation scam that a friend was targeted by this week, and they received this text message. right? In the text message, it says verify TD Bank card activity. Did you attempt a transaction for $250 at Walgreens? Reply yes if recognized or no if not, right? So what this is a text message that it looks like the type of text message you would get from your bank if somebody used your credit card. Um, Sometimes you're traveling, right? I've had this happen to me before where I'm traveling out of state and I'll go to use my credit card and I'll get the a text message because I tried to use my card out of state and it's a fraud alert, right? They just want to make sure that you're actually using the credit card. So verify TD Bank card activity. So this was actually a scam. Okay. And if my friend had replied no, it would went one or two ways, right? They would have either made a note that my friend's phone number was active and then targeted them with more scams in the future. So this could be a way that they're just trying to see who responds to text messages if the phone number is active or not, right? Or the other thing that could have happened if they replied no, they could get a response back saying your account has been frozen. Please reply to us with your username, your password, and other personal information, right? And that's gonna be from the scammer. So that's what they'll do. If you reply no, which is what you're gonna reply because you didn't do this transaction, right? So you reply no, they're gonna reply back and try to get more information from you and try to scam you. Okay. So and this isn't just TD Bank, they'll do this with other banks. So how do you know that these are fake or not? Because obviously, if someone really has your credit card, you want to be able to reply back and say no, right? So we were able to identify that this was 100% a scam for a few reasons. And we actually called the bank. My friend called the bank and confirmed this as well. Um, so giveaway number one was that it didn't indicate what account this transaction supposedly occurred on. If this was a real alert from your bank, it would have given you like the last couple numbers of the account. It would have said something along the lines of regarding account number ending in 123, right? So it would have indicated on the text message something about your account, right? So that's hint number one that this is a scammer. It's not a real text message from your bank, right? Now keep in mind what we just talked about. The scammers know a lot about you, so it is very possible that in the future they could send you this text and it might have your last four digits, you know, in the text because they might very well know that if they breached the third party that you made a payment to, they saw what credit card you used, they might be able to make this even more convincing. But in this case, there was no account referenced in the text message, so it was a fake, it was a scam. The other hint was that it actually came from a phone number, right? So see up at the top here, it has a phone number listed. This text, if it was from the bank, it would have come with from like a 5 or 6 digit number. It wouldn't have had a real phone number. Sometimes you get text messages from short numbers, right? If this was TD Bank, it would have came from only like a 5 digit number. It wouldn't have been a full phone number here. So that's also a giveaway too, that this message came from a phone number and not a short number. So, and another interesting fact about this scam, which is important to stay aware of here, is before my friend actually received this text message, she actually got a phone call. Right? She didn't answer the phone, but she actually got a phone call, and it showed the bank's phone number. Right. So this goes back to scammers being able to put a legit phone number on the caller ID when they call. Right. So the way that this scam went is they called her first using the phone number from the bank. Right. She didn't answer, and then afterwards they sent a text like this, trying to get her to reply. So be aware of this scam. It's happening a lot. I've read quite a few news articles about people who fell for it. And they lose a lot of money because they think they're talking to the bank. So can't stress it enough that they can show the bank's phone number when they on your caller ID. So you get a call like this from your bank, right? Hang up and reach out to the bank yourself. So this actually happened just a couple days ago. It's a very active scam right now. So watch out for it. Hi, Gloria. Welcome to the live stream. All right. Looks like we're getting caught up time-wise here because we got to late start, but we're back on track. All right, so let's talk about some other common scams now. Tech support scams. This is one you definitely want your loved ones to be aware of. This one for sure. It's doing a lot of damage. Let me bring up some screenshots for you here. So the way this one works is this one is actually it targets you online first of all. So you'll be browsing the internet, minding your own business, and all of a sudden you get a pop up on your computer. It looks something like this. Warning: your PC is infected with viruses, and it says to call this helpline for help to remove the virus. Right? This is a scam. It's a very dangerous scam because what happens is you call that phone number and you're actually connected to a scammer, right? And then the scammer, what they're going to do is they're going to say, yeah, we'll fix your computer for us. Let's connect your computer. Once they're on your computer, they're going to get access to your bank account, and they're going to take you for everything you're worth, right? So I have a bunch of examples of these fake virus alerts to show you, but one of the key giveaways here is that if you get a virus alert, it's not going to have a phone number to call for help, right? So in all these examples, you're going to see that the fake alerts, they're going to have a phone number, and every time the number is going to actually call the scammer. So definitely be aware of these tech support scams. And these happen. It's not just Windows computers, not just Apple. It's not just PCs. They pop up on your phone too, right? So this scam is very common across all devices. All right. And the whole trick is they're trying to trick you into calling this phone number. And this goes back to you're dealing with scammers in call centers, right? These scammers are sitting there. They're waiting for people to call these numbers. And they have a script to follow. You call this number, they're going to follow the script. They're going to ask to connect your computer. They're going to ask you to log into your bank account. They're going to tell you that your identity has been stolen, right? And what they're going to do is they're going to have you log into every single bank account you have, and they're going to try to clear out all your money from all of them. They don't just stop at one. They're going to try to take everything from you. So anyway, this is a McAfee fake alert. And you can actually tell it's got the web address up here, and you can tell it's popping up in a browser. We got another one from Norton. Right, threats detected. Call our support line. It's not really a Norton alert. It's a fake alert. They try to scare you. They try to make it sound as dangerous as possible. System hard drive may fail. Right, do not close the page. System critically infected. All right, but if you call that number, they're going to connect to a scammer, and they impersonate all common antiviruses. Right, we got McAfee, we got Norton, Symantec. Here's a Windows Defender example. Right, your PC has been blocked for security reasons. The following data has been compromised. Right, they're telling you your email, your banking, your Facebook login, your pictures. They're trying to scare you and get you to call this number. Here's another Windows Defender example. Right, they're impersonating Microsoft. They have the Microsoft logo there. So those are a couple of Windows examples, but like I was saying, this isn't limited to just Windows. So they'll target Apple users too. Right, so here's an example of one. In this example, you can see it's also, you can see a web address in Safari popping up, so you can tell it's coming from the web browser. Right, but they have the pop-up here, Apple firewall warning, your computer has a serious virus. Right, you should call Apple support, and then list a number there. It's not Apple support though. If you call, it's going to be a scammer. Data at risk, right? They tell you your credit card's at risk, your email, Facebook, your private photos, your webcam could be accessed, right? And of course, technicians are standing by to provide our free diagnosis, but yeah, scammers are standing by, not technicians. There's another example of an Apple one, right? They're impersonating Apple Care. Your Mac OS is infected. Call this number. Call the numbers could be a scammer. And here's one more. Tells you you're infected with spyware. If you leave this site, your Mac OS will remain damaged and vulnerable. Right. So they're trying to scare you. They're trying to get you to act urgently. So in a case with these tech support scams, it's important for a user to know what antivirus they have on their computer, right? Because that could be a little helpful. Just knowing what antivirus you have on your computer can make a difference, right? Because let's say you know you have, let's say you use Norton, right? You have Norton installed on your computer, but you get a McAfee pop up right away. You know, wait, I don't have McAfee on my computer. I know this can't be real, right? So it is helpful to know what antivirus you do have on your computer. Okay. It's also helpful to know how to run a virus scan with your antivirus. Okay. So this way, if you get one of these pop-ups, instead of clicking on a button or calling the number, sometimes they'll tell you to click here to run a scan and it actually installs a virus, right? What you can do is close this all out, right? If you know how to run your own virus scan, close out these warnings and run a virus scan with your actual antivirus software. So now I know not everybody will know how to do that. Okay. So I'm sure there's plenty of people, they don't know what antivirus they even have on their computer or how to run it. Right. So at the very least, what you should be aware of is never to call this number that pops up on these alerts. Okay. You can't trust the number. And at the very least, you should have someone in mind of who you would call. Right. So if you're concerned about it, like your computer guy, right? You have your computer guy. Give them a call if you're concerned about a pop up like this. Take a picture of it with your phone, right, and send it to your computer guy. Hey, is this something I got to worry about? 99% of the time, it's gonna be no. It's a fake. It's a fake alert, right? Especially if it has a phone number there. They have a family member who's good with computers, right? So it's good to take a minute if you don't know what antivirus you run, you don't know how to run the scan yourself. It's good to think about it and be prepared for who are you gonna ask for help if this does pop up, right? Because you don't want to make any snap decisions, right away, and you don't want to get scared and call this number, right? You want to have in mind a plan of who you're going to reach out to and who's going to help you if you do get some of these pop-ups and you're concerned about it. So watch out for these fake virus alerts. Um, the horror stories that victims have reported from these ones are I mean, they're terrible. Like these guys, because once they're on your computer, they're going to steal your passwords. Any passwords you got stored, they're going to steal them. They're going to have you log into your bank accounts. They're going to take all your money. It's really bad what these scammers do if you call them. So don't fall for these fake tech support antivirus alerts. Again, they happen on your phone too. If you're not able to close these, most time you just close them, right, and they won't come back again. But if you're not able to close them, sometimes the X, you can't click on the X or whatever, they make the pop-up hard to close. You could turn off your computer. Hold the power button down, force your computer off, and turn it back on. If you're not able to close the windows. All right, so got 10 people watching. Say hi if you haven't said hi yet. Let us know what scams you want to talk about while you're here. The next scam we're going to talk about, wrong number scams. Did a video on this scam, and it's close to 95,000 views. So that's a popular scam. A lot of people are researching it. Let me get some screenshots up for these wrong number scams. Okay, so wrong number scams, right? So the point of a wrong number scam is to get a reply and start a conversation with you, right? So, so there's multiple parts of the scam. Like initiating a conversation and talking to you is the wrong number part of scam, right? And then they'll pivot once they're actually having a conversation with you. They'll pivot into a different scam. Like once they're talking to you, they'll hit you with an investment scam, or they'll build a relationship up with you as like part of a romance scam. At the very least, if you reply to one of these text messages, at the very least, now they know that it's an active number and they might sell your phone number. So the point of wrong number scam is to get you to reply and start a conversation with them. And these wrong number scams could start off in with almost any text from a random number, right? Uh, these are real examples here, right? Excuse me, is this Emma? Right? You want to be nice and reply back, no, it's not Emma, right? But now you just replied to a scammer. You let them know that your number is active. Okay, same thing. Hey Anna, I'm Josie. Right? Well, you want to reply back? Sorry, wrong number. You can't. You don't want to reply at all. Um, it could just start with somebody message you saying hi from an unknown number. Here's an example. A little bit more of the conversation. Right. So in this example, I'm Margaret or you're Lillian. The person replies, I'm Izzy. And a really good indicator of a wrong number scam, right, is the person keeps on trying to talk to you afterwards. After you realize it's a wrong number, the person keeps on trying to have a conversation with you. It's going to be a scammer then, right? Once you tell them it's a wrong number, once they realize they have the wrong number, there's no reason for somebody to be talking to you and trying to keep on getting to know about you, right? And in this example, he realizes it had a wrong number, but he replies back. So I'm really sorry. I think I made a mistake between your number and Lillian's number. I hope I didn't disturb you. Person replies back, that's okay. Right. But then the person keeps on trying to keep the scammer keeps on trying to get the conversation going. Thank you for understanding, patience. You're a kind person. I hope you have a good day today. Right. I'm 36 years old. Would you mind telling me your age? No. Right. You got to stop the conversation at that point. It's going to be a scammer if they're going to keep the conversation going. My recommendation is you don't even reply at all. Right. Don't reply to anybody. If they get a wrong number, they'll figure it out. Don't even bother replying because most of the time it's going to be a scam. Let's see. Here's another example. Wrong number scam. Right. This cup of coffee ones, very popular. Once I posted the video about this, a lot of people left comments saying they received one about the cup of coffee one. Right. So in this example, get a random text message. Let's have a cup of coffee together. Right. Person says, "Who is this?" Same deal. It's got the wrong number. Sorry, thought this was Laura's number. I think I called. Hope I'm not bothering you. Right. But then they go into thank you for your kindness. I just realized I entered the wrong code. Where are you from? Right. They start asking about you. Where are you from? What's your name? How old are you? It's a scam. So be aware of it. You get some random message about a cup of coffee. It's a scam. Um, Here's another one. This was actually one that I got, and we kept the conversation going, specifically to use as an example, in our videos and on these live streams here. But we got the message. It just starts off with hi, right? Unknown number. You know right away it's a scam. So we just acted like a normal person. Would, hi, who's this? I'm Karina. Are you David? Give us a story about meeting at a party. No, sorry, you have the wrong number, right? Reply back, oh my gosh, I checked and found out I had the wrong number. I hope it doesn't bother you. That's okay, no problem, right? By this point, a normal person would realize they had the wrong number, stop the conversation. But the scammer continues the conversation. We say it's no problem. They reply back, thank you very much. They tell us we're friendly, you're a polite person. I hope we can be friends. Nice to meet you. My name is Karina. What can I call you? Right? So they're trying to ask our name. So in this case, I replied back Pat, because Pat could be a man or a woman. So I wanted to mess with the scammer a little bit, right? Then he replied back, you have a beautiful name. I'm Malaysia. Where do you live? Ask more information. It's a scam, right? It's known as a wrong number scam. They use it as a way to get active numbers and to lead into different scams, right? So if we have continued a conversation with this person, judging by the fact they said I have a beautiful name, it probably would have led into like a romance type scam thing, trying to convince me to be friends with them, So watch out for these types of wrong number scams. Oh, I almost forgot the best one. Here's another example of one that I got, and they'll include a picture. They'll include a picture to try and tempt you to reply to, right? So in this case, I get a text message. Hi, Byron. I'm Jane. It's got a picture of a woman, right? And then I even sent a follow-up text. Have you got the pictures I sent? Right. So they're trying to get me to respond to say, no, you got the wrong number. This person would have then tried to befriend me, start asking my name. They'd ask where I'm located. And they're trying to get people to reply. In this case, probably guys. So we talked earlier about how people do fall for these romance scams. They're lonely and they'll fall for these scams. And this is an example of a wrong number scam where they very easily could. And usually it turns into a pig butchering scam, which is when you A pig butchering scam is when you get someone to try to invest into a fake type of investment. You promise them all this money and then that they're going to be rich. As it's known as pig butchering because that's considered. They say you're fattening the pig by promising them they're going to be rich, and then once they give you, they sign up for your investment, send you money, then you butcher them. So let me close these examples here. So that's a wrong number scam. A lot of people wonder why they get so many text messages to wrong numbers. Well, this is why, because it's all part of this very popular scam. And it's all automated too. So again, we talked about this earlier. Something to keep in mind. It's not like somebody's sitting there manually sending these text messages one by one, right? This is all automated. They have the latest software. The software is just sending out messages one after the other. The first couple of replies are probably a bot. It's probably not even a real person. It's probably a bot that's just programmed to say these things to you. So everybody's a target, right? It's not like somebody has to specifically think to themselves, I'm going to target this individual. You're going to be on a list, and eventually these scammers are going to load up that list, and you're going to get hit with some of these fake number messages. So watch out for those. Marky Mark 007. Cool. Welcome to the live stream here. Knowledge about media. No, sorry, can't really help you with that one, man. Sorry. Everybody else, say hi. Let us know you're in the chat. If there's any scams you want to talk about or any questions about some you received. So let's see, fake order scams. Let me give the screenshots for that. So this one, all right, so we did a video about this one. Definitely check out this video. It's on our YouTube channel about fake order scams. But this one is very, very popular right now. Because it's actually targeting victims are being targeted by phone calls, by text messages, and by emails, right? So these scammers using multiple channels to try and target victims. Hey, Pura Vida, welcome to the chat from Costa Rica. Awesome. So let me bring up some examples of these fake order scams, right? I actually have 2 recordings. We share it in a video as well. I'll see if I can play the 2 recordings for you. But first, let's talk about this one victim, right? So let me get ahead of myself here. Let me explain how this fake order scam works. Okay. So how it works is you receive a phone call, a text message, or an email, and it says that you placed an order, right? It says a lot of times they're Apple products. It'll say that you placed an order for a MacBook Pro or something along those lines, right? And it'll say to dispute this order, call this number. Okay. And what happens is most people go, I didn't purchase a MacBook Pro. I better dispute this, right? They call up the number. They don't realize it, but they're calling a scammer, right? So again, they're targeting by text message. They're targeting you by phone. You'll get a phone call, and I'll play a couple of recordings of the phone calls too. But you'll get a phone call that will say, purchase was made under your account. Press 1 to dispute it, right? And if you press 1, you're going to be connected to a scammer. Okay. Same thing with text messages, except the text message will say, call this number to dispute it, right? If you call a number, you'll be connected to the scammer. Here's actually an example of one of those text messages. So this one claims to be from Apple. It says that a purchase was made with your iCloud ID at Apple Store, $143, right? And then it says to dispute it, call this number immediately to cancel this charge. So someone might get this text message and they might freak out. Oh, I didn't make a payment. Oh my God, somebody's making a purchase under my account. I better call this number and dispute it, right? But they don't realize they're going to be connected to a scammer. So there's a text message example, right? But there's also phone calls too. Let me see. I'm going to try this out. I'm going to actually hold up my mic to the speaker and see if you could hear his phone call. Okay, so let me know in the chat if you could hear his phone call when I play it. Here. All right, now this one's a little choppy, so it's going to sound like that anyway. But let me know in the chat if you could hear this when I play it.
This call is to authorize the payment of $1,499 or the recent order of Apple MacBook Pro on your Amazon account. If you do not authorize this payment, please press 1 to speak to our customer support representative.
All right, let me know if you were able to hear that in the chat or not. But the gist of it is they called you up, right? And it's actually recording, and it says that you made a purchase of a MacBook Pro for $1,400, and it tells you to press 1 to dispute it. All right, if you press 1, you're going to be connected to a scammer. Okay, I'll tell you what they do in a minute. But let me play one more recording for you here, because that was a recording that impersonates Amazon claiming a MacBook was purchased, right? In this recording, we are trying to contact. In this recording, they impersonate Walmart, right? And they say that a PlayStation was purchased. Okay, so let me play this one for you now. These are real recordings.
We are trying to contact you concerning an unverified purchase of PlayStation 5 Special Edition bundled with Pulse 3 headset ordered from your Walmart account for an amount of $859.50. If you did not authorize this transaction or wish to cancel, please press 1 or return our call to the same number at your earliest convenience.
All right, so I'm going to assume you guys are able to hear that, but that was one impersonating Walmart saying that you purchased a PlayStation, right? And if you purchase one, you're going to be connected to a scammer. So that's two recordings of actual phone calls that they're going around, and they're all robocalls, right? They're all automatic. They're dialing numbers. They're playing those calls, and if someone answers, they hear that, they freak out, they press 1, they get connected to a scammer. Same thing with this text message. They get a text message, tells them they made a purchase that they didn't. They freak out. They call the number to cancel the charge. They're actually talking to a scammer, right? So those are phone call versions. There's a text message version. Then there's the email version. And in this news article right here on your screen, a woman lost $4,100 because she fell victim to this scam. And it started because she got an email saying that she purchased an iPhone, and it included a number to call to dispute the purchase, right? So she called the number and thinking, that she was calling Amazon, Apple, whoever, right, to cancel the purchase, but she's actually connected to a scammer and is talking to a scammer. And what happened, and this is where you actually learn more about the scam, right? So now keep in mind, this scam could vary. The fake order, the whole point of that is to get you on the phone with the scammer. So once you're on the phone with the scammer, the end scam could vary. But in this case, she fell for the wrong order. Scam called the number to dispute it, right? And then what happened is the scammers told her that her identity had been stolen, right? And that multiple accounts were being opened under her name, right? And in this case, they posed as like a CIA agent, right? The one scammer transferred to another person, another scammer, right? And that scammer impersonated a CIA agent and instructed her to withdraw money from her bank account. And a lot of times they'll tell them you need to protect your money by moving it, right? That's how you trick you into moving the money. They tell you your identity's been stolen, someone's in your bank account, now you need to transfer the money, right? And they make you think you're transferring it to another account or a safe place, but what you're actually doing is you're giving them your money. You're giving the scammer your money. So she calls up. She was told that her identity's been stolen. They connect her to somebody impersonating a CIA agent, right? They tell her to withdraw $3,600 from her bank account. They didn't tell her to purchase cards right away. They tell her to withdraw the money first, so she does. And then the next day, she was directed to purchase Walmart gift cards. Right, so she purchases Walmart gift cards with the money and sent the scammers pictures of these gift cards. Right, and the reason the scammers do this, which is by the way, red flag, huge red flag, that they're telling you to pay with gift cards, it's a red flag, right? Because the reason they do that is because it's hard to trace where those gift cards went. Right, so yeah, so that's this lady's story about the fake order scam. She lost $4,100, all because, and it was all started with an email claiming she had made a purchase and she purchased an iPhone. So be suspicious if you get any emails, text messages, phone calls that say you made a purchase that you didn't. Right, be suspicious about who you're talking to, to dispute it. In the case of the Amazon one, right? If it says you made a purchase on Amazon, there's no reason to go talking to the scammer. Go check your Amazon account, right? You don't see a purchase there, you're good. So always try to check your accounts and do your due diligence before calling these people. If they're impersonating Amazon, then what you would do is you would actually look up Amazon's number and call them or deal with Amazon chat. You don't want to go calling a number or trusting a random number that came to you in a text message or an email. So that's a fake order scam. Watch out for those. Again, these are targeting a lot of people right now. I mean, phone calls, emails, text messages. Be aware of it. Bank impersonation scam. This is one we were just talking about a little bit earlier. Let me just bring that text message up for anybody that's just joining us again. In fact, let's look at this article about this scam actually. All right. So the example I gave earlier was, from the past couple of days. My friend received that text message claiming to be TD Bank about an unauthorized purchase. And the whole point is to trick her into replying, and then they could scam her out of her money. And one of the key points about that story was they were able to put the bank's phone number on the caller ID. Right. So that's something you need to be aware of that these scammers can do. Just because the caller ID says it's a correct number for a bank doesn't mean it's actually a bank. Same thing. They call you, pretend to be police. They can actually show a police department's phone number. Right. But that doesn't mean it actually is. And in this case, this Connecticut woman had her bank account drained by scammers after answering a trusted Wells Fargo number. Right. So the example I gave you earlier was TD Bank, but they also did it for Wells Fargo. Right. So in this lady's case, she got a phone call. The phone number actually showed her bank's, or the caller ID actually showed her bank's phone number, so she thought she was actually talking to her bank. Let's see. I did everything they said to do, and they literally drained my bank account, she explained. So her trouble began when she saw a familiar phone number on her caller ID. I got a call from a Wells Fargo number saying that I had fraudulent activity on my account and that a random person was being sent money from Zelle, she recalled. They told me to go onto my account and that I needed to secure my Zelle on my end by sending money that would go back to my account right after. Right? So that's what they do. They call you up. They pretend to be a bank. The bank's phone number shows on their caller ID, so it seems legit. You don't question it. And then they instruct you to move your money because you got to protect your money, they say. Right? What you're actually doing is you're sending your money to them. And it's important to note here, right? That's not covered by the bank. Okay. The bank likes to tell you that your money is covered by insurance and it's all safe and protected. Something like this is not covered. The bank is not going to give you your money back if you do this, right? If you're tricked into sending your money to somebody, you're going to be out of the money. The bank's not going to refund you for that. Because it's different. If somebody had gotten into your account and transferred the money, it's a different story. The bank, a lot of times, they will cover that. That's covered under a fraud. But if you're tricked into transferring the money yourself, or you pull the money out and you go purchase gift cards and give them to a scammer, that's not going to be covered by the bank. They're not going to refund you your money. Right? So you have to be aware of this stuff because there's not much recourse after a lot of this happens. So let's see. What else did she say? They told me to go into my account and I need to secure my Zelle, send the money. They told her she was sending different amounts to fraud departments, so transactions would all be reversed. The person she was speaking to on the phone was not a Wells Fargo rep, as she discovered when she went into the bank to confirm that she'd been talking to a legitimate customer service staff member. Right. So there's little red flags here where if you were just aware of these little things, or even if you did the extra step, right? You get a call like this. All right, let me call you back, hang up the phone, and then actually call your bank. Actually call the bank and confirm. Because that one extra step would help you avoid becoming a victim. As we discussed earlier, any incoming calls, you can't really trust that they are who they say they're from, even if it looks like it under caller ID. So it's got to be a rule of thumb. Anything involving money, if somebody's calling you, right, hang up, look up the actual contact information for the bank, and call call them to confirm what's going on. There's going to be a scam. It's definitely going to be a scam. When she showed up at the bank and began to cry, a bank employee helped her connect with the fraud department, which was trying to dispute the transactions. See, and she specifically said, I felt like it was sketchy the whole time, but since it came from a Wells Fargo number, I trusted it. Right. And that's a mistake that a lot of people make. They don't realize that the scammer can make any phone number show that they want. So it's just another example of the bank impersonation scams that are becoming more and more popular because it is convincing. You see that phone number, you think, okay, it is my bank. How we doing, everybody? I see 11 people here. Say what's up. Say hi. Let me know what you want to talk about, what you're here for. Marky Mark, have you seen a used car Facebook market? They asked for Apple cards for down payment. Yeah, Mark, there's definitely scams. Definitely. We talked about one earlier in the stream about somebody that they were selling a car and they got scammed out of $25,000 by the person after he sold them the car, and then the money order didn't clear 3 days later. Yeah, we're gonna do a video on Facebook market scams because there's so many of them. Social media in general, there's just so many. Celebrity impersonation on social media. They're impersonating celebrities. I actually had that happen to me. I don't consider the guy a celebrity, but somebody I follow on Facebook. I joined one of his Facebook groups, and I got a message from a profile that had his picture and all his info on it, and the message says something along the lines of, since you've been such a good supporter and following us, we want to give you a first, we want you to be one of the first people that tries out a new service we're offering regarding cryptocurrency, right? And that's a red flag. Somebody mentioned cryptocurrency is a red flag too. So I suspected it, and as soon as he mentioned that, I was like, all right, this isn't the real guy. But somebody's watching these scammers. They're watching that group. They saw that I joined the group. They saw me as a new member. And next day they send me a message with that fake profile, and it's convincing because you think, well, I did just join the group and now I just got a message from the guy. That makes sense. But it's the scammers. They're watching. They know there's stuff about you. So be on alert for that. Let's see. What else we want to talk about here? 8 o'clock. Starting to get a little late. Grandparent scam. Okay, cool. Let's talk about grandparent scam. I'll just update the agenda real quick on my screen. So we're going to talk about some common scams that are actually targeting seniors. All right, grandparent scams. We talked about this one a little bit earlier, briefly, when we were going over some of the headlines, and one of them mentioned a grandparent scam, and that's when a scammer calls a relative and they impersonate a police officer, and they tell them that their son, daughter, grandchild, whoever is in jail, and you need to pay to get him out. That's known as a grandparent scam, and it's actually very popular. There's entire scam organizations that make a living off of that scam. Here's a news article about that scam. About and one of them is actually run out of the Dominican Republic here. So here's actually a news article about New Jersey federal court. They actually got some of these guys, but let's see. 3 residents of Dominican Republic were extradited to the United States last week and made their initial appearance in Newark federal court yesterday on charges related to their participation in a sprawling grandparent scam that defrauded elderly Americans out of millions of dollars. So these guys are from the Dominican Republic, and they're actually among 11 other Dominican nationals that were getting charged with this. So, according to the indictment, they engaged in a long running grandparent or family in need of bail scam against hundreds of seniors across the United States, including New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and Massachusetts. Right. So, they were calling people all day long, calling people in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, impersonating police officers, telling them that their kids are in jail and need to send money for bail. Right. And one of the things about this is they'll tell you, your son or daughter asked, not to go telling anybody about this. They're embarrassed. They don't want you to tell other family members, right? That's all part of the scam because they don't want this person to call a family member and tell them what's going on because a family member might tell them, hey, you're being scammed, right? They'll also tell the victim that they confiscated your son or daughter's cell phone, so there's no point in even trying to call them, right? They try to discourage them from calling their children to confirm they're actually in jail because they say, "Hey, we confiscated their phone, so we can't call them." Let's see. In the court filings, members of conspiracy referred to as openers, right? And this goes back to these scammers working in teams. These openers called elderly victims in the United States impersonating the victim's grandchildren, children, or other close relatives. The call centers, because again, they're coming from call centers, use technology to make it appear that the calls were coming from inside the United States. So I got another example of them making a caller ID show incorrect phone numbers, right? And they tell them their grandchild has been in a car accident, was arrested in connection with the accident, and needed help. Now, once the openers tricked the victims into believing their loved ones were in dire trouble, other workers, scammers at the call center known as closers, impersonate defense attorneys, police officers, or court personnel and convince the victims to provide thousands of dollars in cash to help their loved ones, right? So scammers are working in teams. They have the opener that calls up, impersonates a cop, and then they have the closers who impersonate attorneys and other court personnel to try and get the money. The cash was typically retrieved by couriers, including those recruited and dispatched by the guys that were arrested. So they'll actually dispatch recruiters to the victims' homes to get the money. If convicted, they'll face a penalty of 20 years in prison, maximum fine of 250,000 for each count. So if you get caught, it doesn't pay to do these scams. But anyway, so that's a grandparent scam, and a lot of them run out of the Dominican Republic. And I actually have a really cool video.
Oh,
All right. So there's this YouTuber that he actually hacks the scammers here. And in this video, what he did is he actually got into one of these scammers' webcams. Right. So he's watching the scammer through his webcam. Right. He's recording him doing the scam here. So on my screen, you can actually see the scammer in this case. Okay. And I'm going to play this video for you because you actually see him doing the impersonation and calling the elderly victim. Right. So I'm going to hold up the microphone to the speaker. Hopefully this works for you. Let me know in chat if you can hear it once I start playing here. But yeah, this is pretty interesting. Wait until you see what this guy does. He actually impersonates the child first, right? He impersonates the child, and then he impersonates a cop. And he does it all with this older lady on the phone. So here we go.
oh,
Mom, I had a car accident.
huh?
I had a car accident, Mom.
Linda,
It's Melinda.
where are you?
I got a car accident.
What happened?
I'm gonna be going when I got arrested.
You arrested?
Hi, ma'am.
Yes,
Hi, are you Linda's mom?
yes.
What I'm gonna need you to do is grab a pen and paper and write down Linda's case number, ma'am. I need you to hurry up, please, ma'am.
Case number?
It's the number 2. The letter B as in boy. Can you read that back to me?
2B.
Now, I'm gonna read what's going on, ma'am, okay?
Okay,
Linda was involved in a car accident that was stated in a police report She admitted that was her fault. While she was driving, she was using her phone. That's what caused the accident, ma'am. Okay.
Oh, man.
The
Okay.
woman that was driving the other vehicle was 7 months pregnant. We had to rush her into the nearby hospital. She might have her baby.
Oh, really?
Yes. Now, we actually confiscated her cell phone for legal evidence so she cannot receive or cannot make calls. This is going to be her only last call. Are you with me, ma'am?
Yes, I am.
Now, she actually wrote a note down here saying that she didn't want anyone to know about this. Let's honor her wish for right now because it's too much for her right now. That's what she's saying.
Okay.
What I'm gonna need you to do, ma'am, is stay by the phone and wait for the lawyer to call. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Bye, bye, ma'am.
All right. Bye. Oh,
Right, so there you go. That's one of the openers that we just talked about for the scam. This guy was actually located in Dominican Republic. I mean, he might still be doing it. Who knows? But this was a really great example that the scam tracker guy was able to hack in, get the video from his webcam, and actually watch the guy do one of these scams. Now, in that case, in that victim, the hacker that got in there, he actually called the victim and stopped her, warned her that she was being scammed, so she didn't get scammed out of any money. But this video was a great example of what they actually do, and there were a couple key things you noticed there, right? He said that he confiscated his cell phone, right? Because that's to discourage her from trying to call the person's cell phone. So he says he confiscated the cell phone, right? And then he also says, and your daughter has requested not to tell anybody, to keep it confidential, right? So that's all part of the scam because they don't want this person's grandmother to talk to the family and tell them what's going on, right? So yeah. So this guy he impersonates a daughter first, which by the way he used voice changing software too. He had a filter applied to his voice, so he sounded more like a woman when he was doing that part of the scam. And then he turns it off, right? And then when he impersonates the cop, he actually has a police scanner recording, playing in the background, just to sound more like he's actually calling from the police station, right? So, but this is a grandparent scam, and this video shows exactly how it gets opened by these guys. The second part of scam would be somebody calling and impersonating, a lawyer or court personnel looking for bail money. So watch out for these types of scams. Another big scam to watch out for. I don't have too many slides to show for this one, but just something to keep aware of with the new year: Social Security impersonation scams. This is a big issue coming up, and it is affecting a lot of seniors. The scammers will call you up. They'll be impersonating Social Security. They'll say there's something wrong with your bank account information. They'll say, we need to verify your bank account, otherwise your payments aren't going to go through. They feed you some story, but it's not the Social Security Administration, right? So there's and it's a big problem. The Social Security Administration, they've been warning people like crazy. They actually have it on their envelopes that they send out to people, for the letters that they send out to people. On the envelopes, right on the outside of it, they say, "Be aware of Social Security scams," right? So this is a big one that's happening a lot out there, and to be aware of. So if somebody calls you from Social Security, don't trust it. Hang up and then call Social Security yourself. Go to their website, look up your contact information, and call Social Security if you're concerned about it. But don't trust somebody that calls you directly and claims to be from Social Security, because they are impersonating government organizations. They're doing that a lot. Same thing goes for IRS. They'll call you, they'll impersonate the IRS. It's not. We kind of just talked about tech support scams. I don't think there's any reason to go over them again. If there's anybody in the chat that missed it and wants me to go over that one again, just let me know. I don't mind. And then we have the undeliverable package scam again. A lot of these are definitely targeting seniors, and seniors should definitely be aware of them. Let's see what else. How is everybody? Say what's up in the chat. Let me know what you're here for. questions, let me know. So we spent most of this live stream on like text message scams, phone call scams, uh, internet scams. Like the tech support scam is a website pop up. Okay, but classic mail, postal mail, snail mail, as people like to call it. There's still plenty of scams coming in through snail mail, through the post office, right? And just because a physical letter actually arrives to your mailbox, it doesn't mean you could trust it. So I actually have two examples here that I'll share with you of two scams that actually come in through the mail. So first, let's start with an inheritance scam, right? And these are scams that I actually had family members receive. So, so on my screen it's a picture of a letter that was actually received in the mail. And this just happened a couple weeks ago. And it has letterhead, it has a logo, company logo up top. They try to make it look like it's from a legit law office, and it's not. It's a scam. So this one we actually got November 29th. So this one's just like a month or so ago. It came in, but so they're basically impersonating a law office, right? And they had their names correct. They had the last names correct on this letter of the family members who received this, right? And what they're saying is they're saying that somebody with the last name has passed away, right? And there's a large amount of inheritance or insurance money that you collect possibly since you have the last name, right? And this law office, they claim that there's $10 million. There's a $10 million inheritance, all right? And because you have the same last name as this person who passed away as a COVID victim, right? The second time we mentioned COVID as part of these scams. So scammers are using COVID for the scams, right? But this letter says that she passed away. She was a COVID victim. She had the same last name. And now insurance stipulates that it has to be claimed within the next 2 to 4 years. And this law office, this fake law office, is asking for your consent to be in partnership with them to claim the benefit on this policy. If you permit me to add your name to the policy, all proceeds will be processed on your behalf. I wish to point out that I want 10% of this money to be shared among charity organizations, while the remaining 90% will be shared between us. Right? They say this is 100% risk-free. I do have all necessary documentation to expedite the process in a highly professional and confidential manner. Right? I will provide all relevant documents to substantiate your claim as a beneficiary. Right? And then the last line, and this is also one of these indicators we just talked about. Right? This claim requires a high level of confidentiality. Right? So the scammer, of course, they're trying to tell us to keep it confidential. They don't want you to tell anybody they received this letter because somebody might point out as a scam. Right? And then they include their contact information on this letter. But this was actually received in our mailbox, sent, by the scammer. And someone might receive this, and it does have kind of an official look to it, official letterhead. I didn't see many like grammar or spelling issues with the letter, so it looks legit in that way. But 100% it's a scam though. And the point is, they say $10 million. Someone gets all excited and figures, let me see where this goes. And usually how the scam goes is what they do. They'll have you open a bank account. They'll tell you that there's fees involved and that you need to pay the fees, right? Typically the fees would be like thousands of dollars, right? And they'll trick people into paying the fees up front because they're under the impression, hey, what's $1,000? What's a couple $1,000? I'm going to get 10 million, right? So these people will pay the fees up front, but then they never get the inheritance because it was all a scam and a lie. So just because these letters come in the mail, it doesn't mean you could trust them or they're any more legit than if you got it in an email. But anyway, we got this letter. Knew it was a scam right away, but we did our due diligence anyway. We did a quick Google just to see, and other people reported receiving the exact same letter, same law office name, the exact same text, on a letter. It's just the only difference was the names of the deceased swapped out. So be aware of this scam. Also, be aware that they do come in the physical mail too. I got one more letter example to give you here. Okay, so this one is a fake renewal bill that was received in the mail. I think these people, I've seen different versions of this scam go out in letters. A lot of times it tries to trick you into like transferring your website or your domain name to a different provider. But the way it looks is they make it look like it's a renewal bill, right? So like this right here, it looks like you're renewing a service that you already had. But that's not true. This is you never had a service with them. And then on the back of the letter, it'll actually in small print, it'll say something like this is not a renewal bill or something along those lines. Or it'll say like this is an advertisement. But they'll put it in really small print, the back of the letter, and you won't realize it. So you'll think that you're renewing a service, but what you're actually doing is you're either signing up for a new service that might or might not exist. You're giving money to a scammer, or you're signing up for a new service thinking that you already had a service and you need to renew it. So watch out for these. I've seen different variations of this. A lot of times they're related to websites. Like in this case, it was related to a website, and they're saying that you need to renew a listing, an advertisement listing. I'm sure they have their own lawyers that put the small print on it and everything, so you can't really sue them or anything like that. But it's shady. It's a scam. So watch out for it. Again, this was this year too, July. So it was earlier, well, last year now. But these are all active scams that are currently circulating and happening now to watch out for. So you get letters like this. It's always good to just, if you're not sure it's real, go Google it, look it up, see what other people are saying. And it's pretty easy to identify what's going on. A lot of people will usually be reporting the same type of scam. All right. So let's take a break from these scam examples here. I want to show you a couple other useful things. So we talked a little earlier about what these scammers know about you, right? And they're able to make their scams seem more legit because when they call you up, they know information that you wouldn't expect a scammer to know about you. But they're getting this information from various data breaches, third parties who you did provide the information to. And something that you should do, and I have links to these sites. If you go to the scamaware101.com website, and then under tools and resources, I have links to these services. But the first three links, Have I Been Pwned, Pen Tester, and Cyber News Leaked Password and Data Checker, right? These three services, they're free. What you could do is you could open them up and you could check. You could type in your email address and you could put in your phone number. And what they do is they come back and they will tell you what data breaches your information has been involved in, right? So if you want to scare yourself, go check out these links. Again, scamware101.com under tools and resources. Check out all three. And what you do is you type in your email address, your phone number, and it'll come back and it'll tell you where your information has been exposed. It will tell you passwords that you've had, passwords of yours that have been breached and are known, right? And I definitely recommend checking out these three links and seeing what information is out there about yourself. And also, it warns you, if you're one of those people who use the same password across multiple services, this warns you. This tells you, like, hey, your password has been breached, right? And the scammers, they'll try that same password on your bank accounts and things like that. So it's important to use different passwords across all your different services. This way, if one gets breached, the scammer can't go and just use the same password again to everything else that you have. A bunch of other good tools and resources on this page too. So take a look at it. Scamware101.com under resources. We've got the data breach lookup tools here. Got a couple website safety lookup tools you could do. Right, you could Norton Safe Web, Google Safe Browsing. You can put a website in; it'll tell you if anybody's reported it as scams. Some other resources. So these are pretty neat. So the scam tracker tools, right? The BBB has one where people are reporting scams to them, and the AARP has one too, right? So ARP is pretty neat, right? So here's the scam tracker map they have. You can actually search your location, see what scams are being reported in your location. So I'm just going to put Newark, New Jersey as an example here. Let's put Newark, New Jersey. And here's all the scams being reported over here to the right. All right, so over here is a business imposter scam. There's an emailing me pretend to be Netflix, right? Watch out for fake Netflix emails, by the way. I get those all the time now. Usually they'll say there's a billing information issue, right? And I'll include a link to update billing information, but any information you enter actually goes to the scammer. So watch out for those fake Netflix emails. Police department, cyber attack, don't know what that one is. Gift card scams, we talked about this one earlier. Use a fake email to make you send gift cards to it. So what people reporting here. Cryptocurrency scam. Microsoft renewal request, right? So fake renewals are a big scam. You know, you get lots of emails. They'll say that your service up for renewal, maybe your antivirus needs to be renewed or whatever they'll say. But you click the link, enter your credit card info, it actually goes to the scammer. So watch out for fake renewal emails. USPS package scam, this is one we talked about earlier. Someone reported that to them. Work from home scam, we talked about that one earlier. That one's being reported. Right, so this is a pretty cool tool. You could just see what kind of scams are being reported in your area. Don't know if your area really matters. I mean, the scams are going all over the place. So they're doing the same scams in California that they are in New Jersey. But it's a pretty useful tool just to see what's being reported and some of the common scams. Tech support scam, right? Some guy called from a phone number on account. Amazon reported fictitious purchase, right? So that's the fake order scam that we just talked about earlier. So these are all common scams that are happening right now. So definitely warn your friends, warn your loved ones, warn your family. And these were all reported just in the past 2 weeks. Person impersonated my friend to get money out of me on Facebook, right? Family imposter scam. Talked about that. So we said like celebrity scam, but yeah, people impersonate your friends too. Someone on Facebook, they'll create a fake profile, put your friend's picture, send you a message, and they'll say, "Hey, I'm stranded. I need you to send me money." You'll think you're talking to your friend. A bunch of other useful resources on here. If you don't have antivirus, you definitely need antivirus. I put a link to a free one called Bitdefender. Malwarebytes is a good one too, just to run scans on your PC. So I have links there for you. A bunch of other links here just to give you updated information on other scams going around. FTC, Social Security Administration, FBI, IC3. They all have pages dedicated to scams warning you about them. A couple links to some bank websites. Banks have started getting a little bit better about warning about scams. So I put a couple links to a few different banks that have some information about scams to be aware of. Capital One, Chase, Citizens. Some other educational resources here. Your credit report resources, right? I mentioned one of the first things I mentioned when we started this stream. I'm going to say it again since a lot of you probably weren't here yet. You get a free annual credit report, right? And I have the link on the resources page, scanware101.com. But you could use this link. Every year, check your credit report and just see if there's any unusual activity on there. Because it'll warn you if somebody's running around creating accounts under your name. Also, by the way, since I have it up here, if you go to our website, you can join our email list too. So you just go to scanware101.com, click join our mailing list. And then you can enter, you can join the mailing list. Just put your name and email. And we'll be sending warnings and alerts about scams that are happening and let you know when new videos are posted, things like that. So check it out, join our mailing list. We're building out our website, making it more nicer and useful in the future. And I think that's about it. I think we're ready to get this live stream wrapped up. Unless anybody in the chat has any specific questions or wants to share any stories or Anything else you want to go over while you got me here? Definitely check out, follow us. We're on all social media pages, right? We're on X, we're on Blue Sky, we're on Threads, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. Definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel because that's where we post all the latest videos, right? So if you can't find us, go to scamware101.com. At the bottom of the page, we got links to each here, including to join the mailing list too. Definitely check out our YouTube channel. We have a lot of videos shared on here. We go into more detail about what we discussed here on the live stream. And there's a wrong number scam. We talked about that one. 94,000 views already. The fake UPS text messages we were talking about. Fake order scam. Fake capture scam. This is one worth checking out. There's a fake capture scam going around where it tries to instruct you into actually downloading a virus on your computer. So you might want to take a minute, check out the fake capture scam video. Kind of warned you about those. Tech support scam. I'll give more examples about the tech support scam we talked about. Brushing scams. You might be hearing about brushing scams and QR code scams, which, by the way, never scan a QR code off of something that you weren't expecting. Scammers are sending out fake gift cards with QR codes and fake lotteries and free prize offers by scanning a QR code, but those could link to a malicious website and actually install something on your device. So watch out for QR codes. Anyway, a lot of good videos here on our YouTube channel, so check it out. Click subscribe. Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, all that. We're going to do these live streams once a week. I'm going to try to do it every Thursday at 5:45. This is only our second one, so I'm still getting the hang of it all, but I'll have it down pat soon. And yeah, so stop by our live streams. We got the schedule all on our YouTube channel. You can see upcoming live streams all listed here. Facebook too. We have it under our Facebook events page. We have all the upcoming ones listed, so you can actually RSVP or leave a comment in the discussion. Let us know what you want to talk about too. I think that's about it. So nobody has anything else. I'm gonna get this live stream wrapped up. I appreciate everybody coming and watching and attending. Definitely have some more viewers this time than last time, so that was pretty cool. All right. Happy New Year, everybody. Have a safe, happy, healthy, prosperous New Year. Stay safe out there. I'll talk to y'all next time. Have a good one.